All right, guys, I'm going to do a quick video explanation on some of these problems to help you with your homework. Mainly, we have to be able to, I'm going to go back. These are the notes we did today in class, and you have to go through these 3 steps to write our equation of our perpendicular bisector. So, on the graphs that are provided, you do not have to use the graph paper. It's just a matter of you prefer that way. But basically, to do the perpendicular bisector, remember if it's perpendicular here, that means we have to use the opposite reciprocal slope. I'm just abbreviating that. And if it's a bisector, that means it goes to the midpoint. I'm sorry, that looks bad. I'm going to change my font. Let me do that. So the first thing is always find the midpoint using the midpoint formula, which is x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. So we're doing the midpoint of the segment AB. A is 8,2, so that's my x1 and y1. And B is 0, 6, so that's my x2 and y2. So we're going to plug in those numbers for those coordinates. So this would be 8 plus 0 over 2, and the 2 plus 6 over 2. So when we simplify this, we get 8 over 2 and 8 over 2. So our midpoint, I'm just going to write it here to the side, M from our midpoint is really the coordinate 4, 4. This is the point we're going to use in our point slope form for the perpendicular bisector. So first we find the midpoint. Then second, we're going to find the slope. Now, we can use the slope formula, which is, I'm going to use the formula based on the 3 steps on our notes, which is our y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if I'm doing the slope of AB, this would be 6 minus 2 over 0 minus 8. This turns into a 4 over negative 8, which is reduced to negative 1/2. So that's the slope, but we need the perpendicular slope. So the perpendicular slope would be a positive 2. Okay, so now that we have this point, the midpoint, and we have the slope, we can put it in point slope form. So the third part right here is point slope form. So, form. So this would be y minus 4 equals 2 parentheses x minus 4. Now, it just said write the equation, so this is fine. It doesn't specify the type of form. So as long as you get to here, you're fine. Okay, you get full credit. Now, if you want to use the graph to help you, we would first need to graph our A and B. So 8, 2, here's my A. My B was 0, 6. I'm put my A there, sorry. Here's my B. And so we're going to connect those points, draw a segment, draw the line between them to connect them to see the segment. Now, if you like using the graph, then this might be a better method for you, because I tend to like the coordinate plane because I can physically see that point that's going to represent the midpoint here. Like if I look here, I know I put it right here. This is my midpoint, and that point is at the ordinate pair 4, 4, which is the same thing I got by using the formula. Now, to do the perpendicular, okay, I can count my rise over run. So this is down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So again, our slope is 1/2, down 1 over 2. So all I have to do is the perpendicular was the slope of 2. So 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1. So I can go up 2 over 1 to the right here, or I can go down 2 to the left one. I want to do this. I want to draw the line because the line can show me my y-intercept. I can see physically, like if I draw this line here, I can physically see where the line touches the y-axis. And right there, there is the y-intercept. That's a b of 1, 2, 3, 4, -4. So if you're using the line, like drawing the perpendicular bisector, because it's going to be 90 degrees and it bisects that AB, then you could have physically saw the equation was 2x minus 4. Okay, so you could have got that as well. I'm not saying you have to do it one way or the other. I'm just saying make sure you can get to the correct equation. Okay, so on the problem like number 2, you can either use a graph or use the 3 steps that I just showed right here. Find the midpoint first, find the slope, okay, point slope form. It says again, it says write the equation of the perpendicular bisector. Doesn't specify how the equation has to be written. So as long as you get to a point slope form, you're good. Now, when you look at 3 here, they want you to find the slope of the perpendicular of this of the line whose equation 2y equals -6x plus 8. Now, to get to any, I guess, slope, we need it to look like mx plus b because the m is the slope. So to change this into slope-intercept form, you needed to divide everything by 2, get rid of that coefficient. This would be y equals a -3x plus 4. And now this is the slope. So to get the perpendicular, it'll be 1/3. And that's all they're asking here, to find the perpendicular. So just kind of reviewing back on some old skills. Now on the other side, you have another perpendicular bisector. So I know this one is probably one where you want to maybe not use the graph, because right here I have this b is x2 here, a -14, 8, and I think this goes to a -10. So you would have to come off the graph. But just remember, just first do midpoint, find that midpoint. That's doing the x1 plus x2 over 2. And then the y1 plus y2 over 2. So plug in the points, the coordinates, find the midpoint. Second, do your slope. Okay. That's what we're doing, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's a 2 there, sorry. And then last, do your point slope form. Okay. So we got some perpendicular bisector equations here. We have a multiple choice. Just kind of want to remind you, here we want the equation of the line is parallel, so that means same slope. And over here, the equation y equals 3 minus 2x. Remember, we want the equation to be mx plus b, so that would be y equals -2x plus 3. Okay, that helps me get to that slope. And then, so we're checking for the same number here. And then remember, if it's in standard form, like this answer choice A and C are in standard form. Standard form is when we have ax plus by equals c. The shortcut to get the slope in standard form is to do -a over b. So that's my hint to help you check your answer choices here. So like here, this is the A is 4. So this would be -4 over b, which is 2. And that reduces to -2. Oh, look at that. All right, and then we have another perpendicular bisector, and then which statement is true. On here, again, see this, it's all in standard form. So do your slope doing the formula, the shortcut -a over b. So this first one here, remember there's an invisible 1 there in front of the x, so this would be -1 over 2. This slope here would be negative 6 over 3, would also reduces to a negative 1/2. And then our slope here, visible 1 right there. So if it's negative a, and I already have a negative, that now turns into positive 1 over 2. And so now we can do some comparison to determine which statement is true. Okay, so hopefully that helps, and just come to class ready to ask any questions and ready for our review test this Friday. Thanks, guys.